She was just a tiny kitten shivering in the rain when I found her. But what happened next changed my life forever. This isn't just a story about a cat. It's about love, resilience, and the way a little life can turn your entire world upside down. Stick with me, because by the end, you might just be reaching for tissues. This is the story of Luna, the kitten who saved me when I thought I was saving her. It started on one of the worst days of my life. I'd just lost my job, my car had broken down, and to top it off, the rain wouldn't stop pouring. I was walking home, soaked to the bone, when I heard it, a faint, desperate meow. I stopped, heart pounding, and followed the sound. Underneath a rusty dumpster, huddled in a puddle of freezing water, was the tiniest kitten I'd ever seen. Her fur was matted, her eyes barely open. She wasn't just crying, she was screaming, as if she knew this was her last chance. I hesitated. I didn't even have enough money for myself. How could I take care of her? But as I stood there, drenched and hopeless, she locked eyes with me. And in that moment, something inside me shifted. I couldn't leave her there to die. I couldn't. I scooped her up and carried her home, using my jacket to shield her from the rain. When I got inside, I laid her on a towel and tried to warm her up. She was so fragile, so small. I was terrified she wouldn't make it through the night. I didn't have much, but I gave her what I could. I wrapped her in an old blanket, fed her tiny drops of milk from a syringe, and sat by her side, whispering promises I wasn't sure I could keep. You'll be okay. I'll take care of you. The first few days were brutal. She was so weak she could barely lift her head. I stayed up all night, watching her breathe, praying she'd survive. And slowly, she began to fight. She'd take tiny steps, meow softly, and nuzzle into my hand like she knew she was safe. But it wasn't just Luna who was changing. She gave me a reason to get up in the morning, a reason to push through the darkness. Every time she purred, it felt like she was healing parts of me I didn't even know were broken. As she grew stronger, so did I. I started applying for jobs again, fixing the things in my life I'd been too scared to face. Luna became my shadow, following me everywhere. Her tiny paws a constant reminder that no matter how hard things get, there's always hope. One day, I noticed Luna wasn't acting like herself. She was lethargic, wouldn't eat, and seemed to be in pain. Panic set in. I rushed her to the vet, only to hear words that shattered me. She needs surgery. Without it, she won't survive. I didn't have the money. I barely had enough to cover rent. But how could I let her go after everything we'd been through? I begged, borrowed, and sold whatever I could. Somehow, I scraped together enough to save her. The day of her surgery was the longest day of my life. I sat in the waiting room, clutching her blanket, praying she'd make it. When the vet finally came out and said, "She's going to be okay," I broke down. Luna didn't just survive, she thrived. And in her fight for life, she taught me what it means to never give up, no matter how impossible things seem. Today, Luna is a happy, mischievous ball of energy. She wakes me up every morning with her loud purrs, reminding me that no matter how dark life gets, there's always a reason to keep going. She may have been the one I rescued, but in truth, she rescued me. Luna reminded me that love doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's that sometimes the smallest things in life, like a shivering kitten under a dumpster, can have the biggest impact. If Luna's story touched your heart, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Who knows, maybe you'll find your own little miracle just like I did.